Now, more Skip Happens. Please return Bubbles, your flight attendant, to her fully upright and locked position. Oh, wait a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat and buckle up. Seat backs and tray tables in their full upright position. It's another episode of Skip Happens. Your weekly view from 30,000 feet. From the first music lesson to the first paid gig to signing the deal, it's the journey that is the life of an artist. Now, here's your captain and co-captain, a.k.a. your hosts, Skip Clark and Deb Lamphere.
Deb is watching football. Tonight's a big night. It's the Bills and the Jets. So
I got to be honest, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, are you? Yeah, so we'll bang this out here tonight. Then we got to go and watch that game. But
Exactly.
Talking about the Jets, I have Jet Jurgensmeyer. Did I say that right?
You did. You actually crushed the last name.
Did I? Jurgensmeyer.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Jurgensmeyer. What is that?
It is German. Very German.
It's not. Yeah. Okay. I was going to say German. All right. Very cool.
It's very much so. Jurgensmeyer.
This is pretty cool. I'm actually old enough to be your grandpa.
No way.
Yeah, no, we're not going to go there, but yes.
Okay.
But Jet is joining us here tonight, and Jet, of course, putting music out to country radio now. But you may recognize the name: Disney Channel, Nickelodeon. Some people call him Spanky. Or
Little Rascals.
Little Rascals. What was that movie, like 2014, 2015?
It came out in 2014, but I was 7 when we filmed that. So it was
Really?
We filmed it about a year or two before it actually came out.
So how old are you now?
I'm 18. I will be 19 in 2 months in November. I'm counting down the days.
Pretty soon we'll have a Jet Jurgensmeyer bar down on Broadway in Nashville.
I think that would be actually pretty fun one day in the not so far, but also feels like the not so near future.
Right. No, I know that. You are in Nashville, correct?
Yes, sir.
What part of town do you live in?
So I grew up on the west side of Nashville, right outside, 17 minutes from downtown, maybe 20 with some traffic.
Wow. You've been there all your life?
Yes, sir. Obviously,
Mom and
there
Dad.
was times of traveling, to California and Missouri, where my dad's from. But Tennessee has always been my place of residence. It's where my ID says I'm from.
Wow. There you go. That's all that matters. So, I want to do this a step at a time because like I told you before you went on with the lights and the cameras and all that, I was reading over your bio and I just there's no way he's done this in just how many years you've been around. I mean, it's like, wow, this is amazing. So you got into acting before anything else. And how old were you when you actually got up on that stage?
So I started acting when I was 4. But ironically, and this isn't really well known, I actually started on stage when I was 3, singing.
Really?
And performing in front of people. My parents owned a bar here in Nashville called the Nashville Palace. It's still there.
Okay.
It's right across from Opryland. There's
Yeah.
a picture of me on the wall.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
So that's where I first ever got on stage and kind of fell in love with entertainment.
Mhm.
And then a year later, we had some friends that recommended acting to my parents. And at 5, we started going to California.
Wow. So you went to California, more or less like LA or Hollywood style.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
And is that where the whole Disney thing came about and all
It
that?
is. So that's where all of that pretty much happened. Really, up until COVID, everything happened in California. Obviously, I filmed a couple movies in Vancouver. I filmed a little bit in Atlanta. But primarily it was California. A little bit here in Tennessee, but it was primarily California. And until COVID, when all the live action stuff shut down and all the voiceover studios closed up, at least there were very few that were still open and operational.
Right.
Like Prime when everybody was terrified. I was able to start working from home and do voiceover work from home, which I'm not complaining about. I mean, you can't see it because of the camera angle, but I have all the gear that I need right
Is
here.
that a Shure? Now, this is a technical thing. It's a Shure SM7B.
Of course it
Hello,
is.
baby. Right
Of
there.
course it is.
I know.
I got my Shure.
Yeah.
I have my Claret interface. I got my four inputs. I got my little MIDI keyboard. You can't. I have 3 guitars behind me right now.
Okay. Yeah. How do you soundproof the room though, or is it pretty good acoustically?
So it's actually pretty good acoustics in here, and if you kind of have a simple understanding of mixing with a little bit of compression and EQ. I mean, you can cut
Yeah,
out
those are,
that noise pretty easily. Also, the Shure is just a great mic.
oh my
Over
God.
here on my wall, I have these frames.
Dude, hold it. Is that with the Shure mic? Can you turn your camera back a little bit?
That one?
Yeah, I have that right here.
No way, really?
Dude,
So wait a minute. Before
wait a minute.
people don't know this that weren't on here before the live started. Not only do I have the same hat you are wearing, I have the same mic that you're using, and the same soundproof picture on my wall.
There's got to be something to that. That's amazing.
I mean, we're bound to be best friends at this point.
Yeah, I know. I can't reach and turn my camera, or else I would show you. But that's exactly what I'm looking at it right now. It's on my
That's
wall,
amazing.
and
That's
it's like the
awesome.
foam material. It's sound
You can push
absorbent.
on it. It confuses
Yes,
people so much when they come over to my house for the first time because I'm like,
dude, I'm
they're
on my
like, "How
way
does it
over. I want to
sound so
see this.
good in here?" They're like, "Why does it sound so good?" And I'm like, "Push on those things." And they're
Yeah,
like, "Oh
exactly.
my goodness."
That's exactly what I did. See, I'm in my own studio here too. I do everything, even though I do the radio thing. I have the Skip Happens podcast, and I have a full podcast studio with the Shure SM7Bs all the way around the table. I have a voiceover studio on the other side of the room. I've got a TLM 103 over there, and I got the Sennheiser mic and the
Show
typical
off.
broadcast RE20. Well, hey.
It's funny because a lot of people that's just a bunch of letters and numbers put together to sound fancy. But to people that actually know microphones and gear, I hear you dropping that stuff and I'm like, "Oh, this guy knows what he's talking about."
Isn't that amazing? Other people would look at you with this blank stare.
It's like when they talk about scientists and math. You can go to any part of the world and put scientists together because
Mhm,
math and science is all one. It's the same
mhm.
with like entertainment and
Exactly.
audio mixing and engineering.
Oh my God. This is crazy. This is crazy. Dude, I'll have to come over sometime and check that
You
out
got to
because
come over. I want to come do this
I would
podcast in
geek.
person.
Yeah, well, you know what? We're in the Northeast. We're based in Syracuse, but this is how it all started. I know this is supposed to be about you, but now that we're on this subject for a few minutes and we're just geeking out over this,
Mhm.
um, before COVID, artists like yourself, people would come around on a radio tour. And I would always make it a point to spend the night in the Q, Syracuse. And I
Mhm.
would say, okay, I'm going to get, well, not at your age, but I would say I'll get beer and pizza and some chicken wings, and we're going to do a podcast at my house. They would always come over. We'd sit here at the table, and if you go back and look through all my podcasts from many years ago, you'll see that the artists used to come in. Then, bam, COVID hit. And now this is what we're doing. But I got to tell you, this is what really good came out of COVID, because if we didn't have this, I would not be having a conversation with you, Jet, tonight.
Exactly. Absolutely.
So this is the coolest thing ever. And probably for you as an artist or even a voiceover artist, or all the different things that you do. I mean, all this is a blessing. This technology is a blessing where you are still able to work, maybe get paid. It's still, and do all that.
Absolutely. COVID, as strange as it sounds for me, was a blessing in disguise because I was able to really focus on music. I could do my voiceover work from home. My
Mhm.
dad built me a little recording studio, a little recording booth in the basement of our house in Missouri. And that's kind of where I did a lot of my voiceover work was from
Mhm.
there. And I wrote, my album that I released last year.
Yes.
Majority of those songs were COVID songs. Were written over COVID, during COVID, through the
Mhm.
3
Mhm.
years that COVID was, and it's still kind of lingering around, having a little uptick right now, you know what I mean? So, there's
Yep.
definitely I think it's a life lesson to truly, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, make something good out of it. You don't
That is so true. Yeah.
you can't change the environment around you, you just have to make the best out of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let's talk about your music a little bit. You love to write,
I do.
correct?
I do.
And you said you wrote a lot during COVID. Were you able to write a lot of songs and put them in the closet per se, just for like later use?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, I can't tell you how many songs I've written that, one, are either awful because everybody writes terrible songs that will never see the light of day in public,
Mhm. Mhm.
or two, are just kinda sitting there waiting for an artist to come along and be like, "Oh, I wanna record that." and I will be like, gladly take it. Or you never know, 19-year-old Jet might go back and listen to one of the songs in his catalog and say, "Ooh, that should go on my next album."
Yeah, there you are. Pretty soon you'll be on that big stage. By the time you hit 21, I'm predicting that. So, and
I'm hoping.
that's yeah, and I can see it. That's a question I usually ask an artist is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I don't need to ask that to you. I don't need to do that because, dude, look at what you've done already. People know you. You've got that. You've already got your base down.
That is such an interesting thing. I know when I do get asked that question, I know you're not asking it, but I'm still kind of going to answer it because I think it's a
Okay,
very
no,
interesting
please.
question to answer. Um, I obviously have goals and I have things that I would like to achieve at certain points in my life or by certain points. And
Hmm.
then there's personal goals. Want to get married and have kids and be a father. But
Hmm.
there's certain things, there's many things in life that we can't control. And my faith is a big thing to me. And I've been growing in that very recently over the last few years. And so my whole thing is God has a plan for everyone, and you
Hmm.
cannot control God's plan, and you cannot
So
force
true.
it. And so where I see myself in 5 years might be where he sees me in 3 months, might be where he sees me in 20 years, or maybe never, because I don't know what he has in store for me. I have to go day by day and take everything with a grain of salt, everything that he throws at me. I just
Mhm.
gotta take that and make the best out of it and try to wrap my head around what in the world are you telling me right now?
Well, he's been watching over you since day one.
Thank
There's
you.
no doubt about that. So, I mean, you
Thank
wouldn't
you.
be where you are today without that. And I can
I wouldn't.
understand 100% what you're saying. I get it. I get it.
Thank you.
You don't know what's going to come down the road, but whatever it is, you're going to make the most of it and you're going to make it work.
Trying,
Absolutely.
yes, sir.
Jet, do you remember the first song you ever wrote?
I do. I do actually. That's funny. For usually I don't remember the answer to that. The reason I laughed is because as soon as you asked it, it popped into my head, and that never happens. Um, if you really want to go back when I was like 5, I wrote a song with my mom about an orange dinosaur, but that doesn't count. Uh, the first the first song I wrote was with my best friend in the whole world, Olivia McKenna. She's an amazing artist and songwriter. You should have her on the
Yep.
podcast.
Yep.
She and I wrote a song called "Changing," and while the lyrics themselves were rather terrible, for lack of better words, the idea of the song in and of itself was a rather mature topic, because the song
Mhm.
was about a lot of times, and I think we kind of realized this over the past few years, people tend to follow what's popular and what's going viral in pop culture. Uh,
It's true.
and it was about how the world keeps on changing, but I'm not changing. I'm making my own way. And while changing is good, you have to make your own path and you can't just follow what everybody else does. You got to be a leader and you have to take control of your life. And so
Yeah.
I look back on that 11-year-old Jet and Olivia and I'm like, ooh, that was real mature for y'all to be writing at 11 years old. But now I look at it and I'm like, I want to go rework those lyrics. That might be a pretty cool song.
And then chances are it would be
I'm
if you did
hoping.
that.
I'm sure there's some back in the catalog that are
I mean,
good, but I tell you what, there's a lot that are oof.
eh, everybody says that though. We talk to different artists, and I'll go, "All right, what was the first song you ever wrote?" And I go, "Oh, I don't even want to tell you. You won't even understand, or you
Well,
won't. It's so bad, it sucks. It's this, it's that."
I'm a really big Ed Sheeran fan, and he was on the Tonight Show. He was on like I think it was a British version of the Tonight Show,
Hmm.
and he was talking about how people are like, "Oh, you were born with talent. You were just born gifted," and he goes, "That's not true." And he pulled up a recording, a voice memo on his phone of him at like 14 singing, and it was awful, and everybody thought it was hilarious. And he goes, "That's just what practice does. That's what
Hmm.
taking advantage of those lemons and making
Hmm.
some lemonade out of it." And I think that man has made plenty of lemonade from that 14-year-old bad voice recording.
Doing the Nickelodeon thing, doing the Disney Channel thing, did you actually have acting lessons, or was there somebody kind of or helping you along the way, or it was just like, all right, Jack, go get them?
I never took an acting lesson. I never had an acting coach. I think I had one audition where my agent or wanted me, or my manager wanted me to go meet with somebody. And I did meet with an acting coach one time for one audition, but I never went to acting classes. I never did any of that. It was always just me and my parents. And it was one of those things where, not that it came naturally thing, but I think
Mhm.
a lot of times, if you're going to put yourself in that character's shoes and that character's mindset, it does have to come naturally. Because obviously, you have like Heath Ledger who went into playing the Joker, and that's
Yeah.
a
Oh, yeah.
mindset. That's not something that he can like relate to on a personal level. But I think there are certain aspects where it's like, if you on your own cannot put your own mind into that character's shoes, then it's just not going to be right. And you can practice it a
Right.
thousand times, and it's just not going to be as natural.
That's not gonna happen. Yeah. Yeah. Well, what about, not to bring up a lot about the, being in the movies. I think, oh, by the way, I made a note of it here. You have been in 26 television shows and 11 movies. Well, I got that off Wikipedia. So I don't,
Wow.
I'm just, yeah. Did
I
you know that?
I did not know that. Um, okay, thank you.
Well,
I
no, I went on
genuinely
'cause,
didn't know that.
well, even American Sniper, you had a little
Yes,
role
sir.
in that.
That
That's
is, some people say there's no small roles. That was my smallest role. That 100%. I
okay.
believe there are small roles. If I'm the kid in American Sniper that got attacked by a dog, that's a small role. That's not a pivotal part.
Right.
That's not talking about when Chris, went overseas.
Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
but that was still so life changing for me, and it means more to
Mhm.
me now as things do. Hindsight's always 2020. Getting to work with Bradley Cooper and Clint Eastwood in the same day, and to put them in the same sentence as me being in a movie is surreal to think about. It doesn't make sense. I don't understand how I got there. I don't understand how it all happened, but I'm just very thankful and grateful that it did.
And how was that whole, like, with your mom and dad? Were they very supportive?
They
I would
were.
assume they were.
They were.
Yeah.
It was never a pushy thing. It was just, if this is
Good.
what you want to
Good.
do, we're here for you. I was very fortunate to always have both parents with me. They work for themselves and like family businesses, so they
Nice.
could travel with me always,
That's awesome.
which I
Mhm.
I never take for granted. I know not everybody was able to have that, and I'm so thankful for it. They're downstairs right now finishing up eating dinner. So there, that I mean, I always have my parents with me, and I had them with me. They were always supportive, and I know I wouldn't be where I am today. I would be doing something most likely
Right.
completely different if it wasn't for them.
So you think they're sitting downstairs? Do you think they're watching
I
and
don't
they're going,
know. I I
they're,
I I
maybe your
imagine
dad's
they'll
going,
go
oh,
back
honey,
and probably watch some, but
yeah, he's talking
they
about
might
us.
be watching. You know how we'll know is if they come in here and poke their head in the room. That's how we'll know. If all of a sudden I hear a little knock and they're like, "You talking about us?" That's when we'll know if they're
I
watching or
love it.
not.
I love it. What, do you play sports at all? Or do
I
you,
do.
when you want to break away from the acting or the singing, what do you do? Do you play
I
some
do.
sports?
I'm not any good, but I do. I
Doesn't
work
matter.
out a lot. I
Okay.
work out daily, at least as much 5 or 6 times a week, as much as I can.
Mhm.
I love working out, staying active. Play basketball in the rec at school,
Very
uh,
cool.
and I used to play soccer a lot. I want to get back into it. I love soccer. The university that I go to here in Nashville, they have an indoor rock climbing wall as well, so it's kind of nice. We can stay active doing just about everything.
Love that. Love that. That's cool. To me, I look at you, I'd say you play baseball, but obviously you don't.
It's funny because I've gotten that before, and I
You
don't.
look like a baseball player.
It's funny, I never obviously, I grew up playing catch with my dad. Every ball known to
Sure.
man. He taught me how
Uh,
to shoot a basketball with a volleyball when
mhm,
I was too
mhm.
weak to shoot a basketball. So, like, obviously, I grew up doing that with my dad, but I never played baseball. I did actually also I forgot to mention, I play golf as well. I'm awful at golf, but I play golf.
Do you go out with your dad to play golf or
I
do
do. I go
you?
out with my dad.
Yeah,
I go out with, my roommate at school. He's a golfer.
sure. Oh,
And then some of my 2 of my best friends out in California, they're both golfers, and so I golf with them and one of their dads.
there's a lot of country artists that I talk to that have played baseball. I mean, you
Mhm,
take Brett Young, he was going to be a pitcher. You Connor Smith, who's out there, he played in a Little League World Series and but yet he chose the path of music.
mhm.
And it just, you do look like a baseball player. And I don't, do you watch the Little League World Series at all?
I do. I'm more of a MLB fan myself,
Okay,
but
yeah,
I keep in touch with pretty much all
yeah.
sports. I'm a sports
That's
person. I
that's
come from a
pretty
very
cool.
big sports family.
Yeah, because I know my son's going to ask me. He played in the Little League World Series a couple of weeks ago, but he's and it's a good thing he plays challenger ball.
Oh,
He's Down syndrome. He's got a lot. He was picked to be on the team that went to the Little League World Series for the challenger game, and that
that's
was it,
awesome.
dude. It was the best. Nothing else in the world mattered. You know what I mean? Just nothing else in the world mattered. So
Absolutely. And I'm
yeah,
I'm
and
so glad that he enjoyed it and had fun.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Nothing like it. Mom and dad had just as much fun. It was
I'm
just,
glad.
it's
That's
that
good.
moment of being proud. Hey,
Exactly.
I gotta
That is how you have to look at it.
ask you this as well. When you watch, do you ever go back and watch, for example, Little Rascals or anything like that?
Periodically, there's a
And
few
then you go, oh
you
my
know
God,
who
look.
really does that? My
Mm.
parents actually do that. So, whenever literally, it's ever since I started college and I'm not at home,
Mhm.
my mom, it's her nightly routine. She turns on Nickelodeon, and if I'm on, she watches it all night, leaves it on all night.
Really?
And I'm like, "Thanks, mom, keep the views up. Keep
It's
it
proud
playing."
mom, right?
But,
Yeah, absolutely.
that's what they watch. I literally came home the other night, it was late, I came home, say hi to him, and I was on the TV. My voice was getting played on the TV, and I was thankful because that just shows the kind of parents that I have.
Yeah, that's awesome. And the support and how proud they are. What
Exactly.
Nickelodeon shows were you in? Can you name a
Oh
few of
my.
those?
I was on Bubble Guppies for Nickelodeon, so
Okay.
a lot of families know that one. I was Nani on Bubble Guppies. I was on a show called, Shimmer and Shine for Nick. I played
Mhm.
Kaz on that, I was one of the genies on there. I was in I was in Hey Arnold, the Jungle Movie. I played Stanky Peterson in that one. That's how Stanky talked, which wasn't too hard for me to do because you'll hear my southern drawl come out a little bit on certain
I
words.
do hear it a little bit, and I hear the "yes, sir" and stuff like
It
that, and
comes out
that
every now and
is
again. Uh,
Nashville.
Certain times my brain is like, "Oh, we have to speak very properly because we are used to doing voiceover work." And then I start talking and and I say talking, certain things like that. So it wasn't hard for me to do Stinky. Um, and then I've done a bunch of voiceover. I'm sure I'm forgetting some stuff. But I've done a bunch of voiceover work, obviously for Disney, like you mentioned, Amazon,
Mhm.
Netflix, things like that. Disney
Very
again.
cool. So let's talk about the new single. You
Yes,
you
sir.
just released a new single to radio, "Falling 2," right?
Yes, sir. I did.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. What I try to do as a songwriter is write what I know. I know that's a cheesy thing to say. Everybody says it, but I do try. I try to write what I know. I try to write relatable things because an audience can smell bullcrap from a mile away, and they can understand
Listen
if
to
you're a
you. You
singer.
are so right.
I
Oh my
mean,
gosh.
they can tell if you're a singer and have no idea what you're talking about. And so I wrote this song with three of my friends, Brian, Kyle, and Pearson, and it's a song that we can all relate to. We've all fallen for somebody. We've all thought that they were the one and had that summer love, if you will. And so we wrote that song, just trying to really encapsulate that. The music, I think, really tells that as well. The music video tells that. I can get into kind of the writing process for that one because it's kind of funny. So if you don't mind,
Yeah,
I'll tell.
yeah, please.
So
Please do.
when we wrote this, we were all meeting at Pearson's house, and we spent, I mean, an hour and a half. We were not writing a song. We were doing everything but writing. I think 45 minutes. Brian was cooking him and Pearson breakfast in Pearson's kitchen. And then we sat there and we were just throwing wet noodles against the wall, trying to see which one would stick. As far as ideas go, like that's
Right,
how I
right,
described it.
right.
And so eventually, Kyle, out of boredom, started playing the simplest chord progression known to man, 1 6 4 5. If anybody knows the Nashville number system, they'll understand that. And
Mhm.
then Brian kind of hummed and mumbled what ended up being the first two lines of the song. And I sat up real quick and I could tell it was a verse. And I was just like, that was cool. I said, guys, whatever that was, can we just sit on it for 20 minutes? We've been here for an hour and a half. If nothing comes of this in 20 minutes, let's go eat. lunch somewhere. I'm hungry.
Right.
And so that's what we did. And we wrote that first verse. We had the first two lines. I had pretty much the entire chorus written in my phone notes deep down for months. I had that the lyrics to that chorus, and I had tried to put that in probably 3 or 4 different songs. Thrown it out there a bunch, nobody liked it. It never stuck. And I got to the point where I was like, I'm never gonna throw this idea out there. And I loved it. I loved the lyrics of the chorus that I had. And I was like, I'm never gonna write
Mhm.
this lyric, this song. I'm never gonna get it done. And I threw it out there, and Brian being Brian, I had the majority of the chorus, and he literally just sang off the top of his head the last line that looped into the hook, "Tell me you're falling too." And an hour and a half later, we have my new single.
See, and people don't realize what really goes into writing a song. It all depends on moods. It all depends on the atmosphere. There's a lot to it. And in this situation, you were ready to write, but not really ready to write. And you were just maybe a little idea here, a little idea there.
It was one of those things where we knew we had to write, but our brains were not ready to write.
Right, right, exactly. Exactly.
And
Totally.
then, it just once you get motivated with something and you get passionate about it, if you put your mind to it, there's nothing that's getting in your way. And I think that's not just songwriting advice, that's life advice. If you put your mind to it and you believe that you can do it, you are going to be unstoppable.
Do you realize everything you've told me tonight, coming from an 18-year-old, soon to be 19-year-old? I don't know of anybody else at that age that would be saying what you're saying. It's very mature, very smart, and people need to listen to what you're saying,
Thank you so
especially those
much.
that are unsure with what they want to do with their lives.
I
At
I
your
take that
age,
as a very
there's
big
a
compliment. Thank you. Um,
absolutely. There's a lot of individuals at your age that they don't know where they're going, but yet, I mean, God is there to show them the path. I get that, and that's going to happen. But just the things that you've been saying just make so much sense, and hopefully somebody will get something out of that. So,
that's all I can hope. That's why I take opportunities like
yeah,
this to say things like that.
absolutely.
Because I mean, I think it's a generational thing where there's not many kids that are my age that do know what they want to do, or at least what they think God wants them to do.
Hmm.
Whereas if you go back to when my dad was born, when my mom was born, it was they knew what they were going to get into by the time they were our age. Um,
Hmm.
and I think that's just because there's so many new career paths nowadays, it can be overwhelming. Obviously, there's the certain people that just don't have any motivation. Certain people just want to be famous but don't know how they're going to get there. And I've heard plenty of that. But I think it just comes from you have to do a
Hmm.
lot of soul searching. You have to figure out
Yeah,
what there what you're good at, what you think you
absolutely.
can expand on.
Yeah, everybody's got a talent. They just maybe they don't know what it is yet, but everybody's got a talent. You just need to bring it out.
Absolutely.
That's all. Do you get to play out much? Do you play at any
I
places
do.
around Nashville?
I stay very busy performing around Nashville. See what's today? Is today Monday? On Saturday I was in Missouri performing.
Oh
Uh
my god.
Now I'm here, and I think I have a gig at the end of this week, maybe. Something like that. I've got gigs all the time.
Yeah.
Wednesday and Friday for the rest of this kind of musical season up until mid to the end of October. Is always booked. I'm playing at a campground in Nashville here. And
Nice.
then I play all over downtown Nashville and obviously stay busy. Going back to Missouri on October 1st, I have another gig out there. I'm playing at one of my friend's churches, which I think is going to be a lot of fun. Play
Nice.
some worship music.
Nice.
Not usually what I end
Yes.
up playing. Be a little bit different than my typical Morgan
Sure.
Wallen, Chris Stapleton stuff.
I love it. I love it. Now, did I read that actually the family has a farm in Missouri?
We do. We have a 3,000 acre cattle farm in Missouri,
Wow. How
and
many head?
we raise about 2,000 head of steers a year.
What?
Um, and we
What do
used
you
to raise turkeys a lot actually.
Who finds time to do that? I mean, they
So
must have hired hands.
I have a very large family. So the majority of
Okay.
my dad's family is in Missouri. And then
Gotcha.
we have cowboys that live on the farm and work on the farm full time, which is awesome. So when I'm not here or in California, I'll show you. I'm on my horse in Missouri riding
I
cattle,
was gonna
or
ask.
riding and working
That's
cattle.
very cool. So, can I this is kind of a crazy question. You're talking about a farm, you're talking about cowboys. You know what comes to my mind? Yellowstone.
Hmm.
So, is it that type of atmosphere with the cowboys or
So it's not the competing ranches shooting at each
Right,
other, cutting
right.
open
No, no,
fences
I
to
don't
let the
expect
cattle
that.
get across the highway.
Right,
It's
right.
not that, but as far as the actual farming, and by farming I mean raising livestock and caring for livestock and working cattle part goes to that show. I'm sure there'll be some people that disagree, but I think that it's one of the most, if not the most accurate, in that aspect as far as it goes.
Gotcha.
Obviously, I've never worked on a ranch in Texas or Montana or Wyoming
Right,
or
right.
Colorado, so I don't know about the other stuff, taking people to the train station and all that.
No, we won't even go there.
But as far as
That's
the
not the
actual
case.
cattle portion goes, it's
Yeah.
very very accurate.
So I would assume you've watched Yellowstone because the way you just mentioned the
I
train
have.
station. I'm just like,
Don't
yeah.
spoil anything. I know I have not watched season 5 yet. I know, I'm sorry, I'm a terrible
The
person, but I have
lady's in
not watched
season
season 5.
5.
I know, and she is my celebrity crush. Oh my lord, I'm in love with
Well,
her.
I had her on the podcast. You have to go back and watch it. And then we just did a show with her just a couple of weeks ago.
You
We've done
know,
2
if you ever just want a second host when you bring her back,
Dude, I
just
would
give me
use
a
you.
call.
Alright, I got the number.
I
I can
will
do that.
clear my schedule instantaneously. I love Lainey Wilson.
Who doesn't?
I mean,
Seriously.
she seems like such a nice person. I think she's beautiful. She's so talented. I'm like, man, I don't have a shot, but there's a small part of me that's like, I think I got a shot.
Dude, nah, just saying. Just saying. Because she's dating a football player. Um, I can't think of Devin. I don't know. I
I
can't
know
think
who
of
you're
the
talking
name of
about. Hey, I play guitar. I can't take him. I can't fight
No,
that man.
no,
I play
no.
guitar.
There's a big difference. But I will say we saw it was back on the 23rd of August that she opened up her state fair here in New York State. And I walked backstage and I could hear her go, Skip, like that. And I went, she remembered. And then I have these, and if I'll have to send you one, I have Skip Happens mugs. She had them on
Send
her
me
tour
one.
bus. I'll send you one. We'll talk after. I'll get the info.
Absolutely.
But absolutely. So no, is there any other country artists that you kind of look up to?
Oh my goodness. My
I mean,
inspiration
we
is
talk
all
about
over the
Lainey,
place.
but yeah, yeah.
My
See,
inspiration's all over the place.
I hate asking the question, what your influences are and this and that. Everybody does that. That's not what I'm about. But there's always that artist that it's like me with radio. There's certain jocks that I look up
Mhm.
to and say, wow, I always wanted to be like him or something.
The reason I like that answer, I like answering this question, even though it is a stereotypical question. I like
Mhm.
answering it because my inspiration's all over the place.
Yeah.
From my Tennessee roots, I grew up listening to Chris Young, George Strait, George Jones, Miranda Lambert,
Wow.
old Taylor Swift, Chris Stapleton, Morgan Wallen, Zach Bryan. Nowadays, those are people inspire
Mhm.
me. And then being in California so much, there's Ed Sheeran, Shawn Mendes, Charlie Puth, Haley
Mhm.
Steinfeld, Selena Gomez, my friends Sabrina Carpenter, Sophia Carson. I mean, you had Ariana Grande. I mean, it's undeniable. She's a pop icon. So
Absolutely.
I listen to all these people and I'm inspired by all of them in different ways. So some of my friends kind of describe me as country Ed Sheeran, which I feel like you kind of get out of Falling To and a couple of the next songs that are going to be on the album that I'm working on. So my inspiration's all over the place. And I think the reason I try to
I
keep
love
that, so I mean, Frank Sinatra, I love Frank Sinatra. I've written so many jazz things inspired by him.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Um, One of the big things for me is I think the worst thing anybody can say is this is how I've always done it. It's like, why? Why not stay changing? Your audience is growing and experiencing life.
Mhm.
Their ears are
Mhm.
changing, their preferences are changing.
Mhm.
They're
Mhm.
going to, again, audiences can smell bullcrap. And if you're just staying the same and doing the same thing album after album, year after year, decades down the line, nothing changes, people are going to get tired of it. And so I try to
Absolutely.
write People ask me my genre, and while it is primarily country, you will find a little bit of everything because I write everything and I enjoy genuinely everything. So I try to keep my stuff as fluid as possible, I
Yeah,
guess is the
no,
way to
no,
put it.
that's a good way to put it. Yep,
I,
yep,
I
and no, and I was gonna say, like, right now, what's going the crossover between formats is more than it's ever been. You're hearing Luke Combs on, CHR stations now. You're hearing, of course, Morgan Wallen. Look at he's getting played everywhere. Hardy, you're getting these guys, I'm just
I
saying, if
love
you
Hardy. He's another one of
yeah,
my inspirations as a songwriter, not
oh my god,
even as
yes,
an
it's great.
artist. I mean,
Yeah,
his stuff as an artist is amazing. His old stuff from 2018, 2019, amazing. But then you go and look at songs that he wrote because he was a songwriter first.
mhm.
God's Country, but for Blake Shelton, is one of
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
most cleverly written songs in the country music that I've heard in the last 10 years. Uh,
Yes.
Hardy's song "A Rock," if you've not heard it, go listen to it. The
Mhm.
best storytelling song I've ever heard. It's undeniable that he's going to very easily be in the Songwriting Hall of Fame.
No doubt. No doubt. Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, I love that, with all the different just and songwriters. That's a whole nother avenue. I mean,
Whole
songwriters,
other animal.
that's a whole nother animal. Exactly. Just it's and a lot of people don't realize that,
No, I
they
don't think
they
I
really
don't think they
do.
do. A big thing for me, I set a goal for each album, each
Mhm.
project. So for my first album, I was 12, I was 13. You don't know who you are as an artist, as a person. I only wrote one of the songs on that very first album. So my goal for the next album was to write all of the songs. That's what I did for my album Phase 1 Discover that came out last year. My goal for this coming album, that Falling 2 is the first song off of, was to be there for every process, the mixing, the mastering, everything. And I was very surprised to hear that most artists don't do that. And most artists are not there when their song is mixed and mastered. They get
Nope.
they get an MP3 emailed to them and then they say, I want this changed.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
my
Yep.
while I still do that, I am also there for the mixing because my thought process behind that is how can I be on stage telling people that this is my story or one of my co-writers' stories, but not know every step that went into making it. I'm there when it's tracked. I'm there when I'm recording the vocals. I'm there when it's written. Why would I not be there for when it's mixed? Because the mixing is what makes the song.
Absolutely. 100%. And I play the stuff on the radio and that's what people are hearing, but they don't realize what actually went into that, and then it gets sent to radio and then you
I
hear it.
will
But
never ever complain about a mix taking too long when I hear an engineer email back saying, "Sorry, I got caught up in trying to EQ the drums." You sit in one mixing session and watch an engineer. My engineer Dan Frizzell is the best person I've ever worked with. He's amazing. He produces with me as well. Uh, and watching him mix drums, just the drums takes an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on the song. I will never complain about a mix taking too long again because that can literally make or break the song.
it's amazing. Just amazing. Do you have a full band, I would assume. Is that all those guys the same guys you take into the studio with you?
So primarily when I play out, it's just me and a guitar. That's primarily what
Oh,
I
okay.
do.
Okay.
But
Okay.
we do have these try to keep the same studio session players for every session. Just because there's nothing like building a relationship with the people and being able to say,
Sure.
"Hey, what's going on, Jeff? Hey, Jeff, when you're doing that, can you just end it up right, or can you break that one down a little bit more? Rojas, can you on the piano? Can you give it a little blues feel on that? Play that B3 a little bit
Mm.
like that. Miles on the drum. Making those connections with people, knowing names. Life lesson
Yeah.
again. Learn names. Oh my lord, learn names. Please learn names. Uh, it's little things like that that also make or break the song because if the session players don't like you, and then I'm not saying they all like me, but if they really don't like you, they can make your song sound very bad.
Yeah, and that's when they call you Spanky.
That's when they call you Spanky. Yep. Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
Jet, change it up here just a little bit. Today, it being a Monday, we're doing this on a Monday night, but tell me about your day. Tell me about your day. What time did you get up? What did did you go work out? Did you go to the studio? Did
Great
you
question. I woke up at 5:30, got up and showered, drank my water, my Yeti water. Always drink water in the morning. And looked through my emails, cleared out all the spam emails. Uh, Made sure I make a list at night before I go to bed of things that I want to accomplish uh, at the end of the day. I
okay?
have a
I like
GSD
that.
list. Some people can figure out what the GSD stands for. And you can look it up what a GSD list is. And so then I have like things that I'm thankful for written down just to motivate me throughout the day. Drank my protein shake. I had a 8 a.m. class at school, and my only class on Monday, Wednesday, believe it or not, is my 8 a.m. pickleball class. That is literally one of my college classes.
Whoa, whoa,
So
whoa, 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 whoa! Wait a minute. Time. Pickleball?
I
You have a
know. I had to
it's
take
huge
like a
here
PE
too.
class. I had to take a PE class, and that one sounded fun. Uh,
So, can I just ask what goes on at a pickleball class? You just play pickleball?
no, I mean we have barely played pickleball in this class. We've
So
just
what
been
goes on?
learning how to hit the ball. Which if you're somebody that grew up playing sports, sounds about as sorry as it sounds. If you didn't grow up playing sports, like many people in my class, you could be there for an hour watching people try to figure out how to make contact with a paddle and a ball. So that happens.
But
uh,
but it's a special paddle,
it
right?
is a special paddle. It's a little bit
And
larger.
it's yeah, and the
It's a
balls are
wiffle
special.
ball. It's a wiffle ball.
Yes. Yes.
So after that, we went. It was next door. Me and my friend Aiden, who's in the class, we went to the gym together. I went back, showered again, ate, um, did all those fun things. Did some homework. Got some of that done. What else did I do? I did a lot of homework today. I had to meet with one of my first year writing groups to talk about a topic that we all got to write an essay on. And then
Yeah.
came home, ate dinner with my parents, and hopped on here with you. I'm gonna go back to school after this and go see some friends.
Tonight
Yes, sir.
tonight you're going back to the school.
I live
No.
17 minutes away.
Okay, what school? Where are you going?
I'm going to
What
Belmont
school?
University here in Nashville.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. Well, there you go. I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
Belmont says it all. So
It's
that's
awesome.
cool.
I'm living
Yeah.
on campus, but it's nice because I only grew up 17 minutes from my dorm. So that's
Mom,
awesome.
Mom, I'm bringing my laundry and what's for dinner?
I haven't done that to her
Go
yet.
ahead,
I
say
because
it.
I grew up, with her doing laundry because I was the only child, so we all just did our laundry together.
Mhm.
And I was like, I got to figure out how to at least do my own laundry. So I do my own laundry. I make my bed. I keep my room clean. Me and my roommate, we've been friends since we were 7. We both like a neat
Nice.
room, so we have a rug in our room, and it's one of those rugs. Everybody knows what I'm going to talk about. Where when you vacuum, it makes the perfect lines.
Oh, yes, yes. Oh,
Oh,
we have one of those upstairs.
I came back
Yes,
into the room
absolutely.
last night, and my roommate Daniel, he had vacuumed, and I was just so happy to walk in and see the perfect lines. Oh, it made my night. I went to bed so happy last night because of that. It was
Oh my
amazing.
god, this is so funny. My co-host Deb, when she does it from her home and she sets up, but you can see her living room in the background and you can see all the lines in the carpet. And I always say something about that. I go, Deb, it's looking good.
It's
She
the
goes, oh yeah,
best part of having a rug in your home. It is.
yeah, I love that. So falling to now, you went through all the the writing of that and all that. How long ago was that? Was it more than a couple of years?
No, it was last year we wrote that one.
Okay,
Um,
so was it a real life experience? I think that's where I'm going with this. When you're talking about a relationship, more or
yes,
less.
it was something that me and all of my co-writers could relate to, which is kind of what I touched on earlier, where
Yeah.
we were trying to write something that everybody can understand.
Right,
Um,
right.
so yes, it was very much so relatable. It was very much so. that young teenage feelings that came
Yeah.
out into the song.
Yep. I
But
got you.
there will definitely be, how can I word this? Ooh, there will definitely be some heartbreak songs on the album as well to
If
show
you
the
go
story
ahead.
arc.
Yeah. So there's a little story there. I get it. I get it. I was talking about my son. I saw he just commented. He says Disney Channel. See, he knows. That's
There you
Zach.
go, Tots. I'm just
He's
the pink one. That's my voice on Tots.
he must be upstairs. He was
There you go.
bowling. Must be back now.
Oh,
But
I love bowling. I'm awful at bowling, but I love bowling.
you're awful at everything, but you love it all.
I love most things.
I
I'm
don't
just
mean
not
that in
good
a
at
bad way.
most things. I've found the couple things I'm decent at and am trying to hone those skills in.
Love it. I love it, dude. Oh my God. So do you think you'd be doing any more in the way of acting, or you're gonna really just kind of push forward with the music?
I'm still doing acting. I still actually do voiceover work for Nickelodeon right now, through
Okay.
the strike because Nickelodeon has a separate contract with SAG-AFTRA.
That's cool.
I was just, elected. I ran and was elected to the Nashville board of directors for the SAG-AFTRA, office here in
Sweet.
Nashville. So I'm
Cool.
one of the board members now. I'm the youngest board member now. Um,
Yeah.
and it's a pretty fun thing. And I've been a member of SAG-AFTRA, excuse me, before people get upset. SAG-AFTRA. I've been a member since I was 5. So, going on 14
That's
years. And
wow.
so I think having those young eyes and that fresh perspective,
Yeah.
we'll see after the first board meeting if people will still view me as having fresh eyes, but we'll see.
When you do the voiceover for Nickelodeon, what they send you a script and then you
They send me a
do
script, we hop on Zoom. I have a
okay.
recording software. I sit right
Yep.
here. I record it, just a raw audio file, no EQ, no compression, nothing, raw. And then I email them the audio file and they do their magic with it. And within a week or
That's
two,
pretty
it's put on Nickelodeon.
and you go, wow, look what they did with that.
Hmm.
But no, that's amazing. That's amazing. That's
Yes,
cool.
sir.
That's cool. I'm proud of you, man. That
Thank you so
you're
much.
living like my dream, doing the voiceover
Thank you.
stuff. No, I do
I
yes.
have a feeling that if I ever come do this in person, we would have a 2 or 3 hour long podcast.
All of that.
I would, I would, I would love to do that. That sounds like a blast.
Dude, if you come to the Northeast, and I'll give you all my contact info afterwards, and if you're in the area, absolutely 100%. Would love to,
Amazing.
get you into the
I
studio.
can't wait. I mean, we could talk about gear for an hour. We
Oh
could talk
yeah.
about God for 2. We could talk about music for
Yep.
3. Oh,
We
we
could
would
talk about
just
soundproofing. We got the same hats. We got the
we
same,
got I'm
we
gonna
got it all, man.
I'm going to find that hat, and when I do come visit you, I'm going to wear that hat.
I
If it
love
is
this.
the la I e even if I have to buy it again because I know I have that hat somewhere in a
Well,
closet somewhere.
we're definitely gonna do this again. Jet, where can somebody get a hold of all your music right now?
Everything, from my music to my website, my social media, it is all under the same thing. Jet Jurgensmeyer, it's written right here on the screen. Jet with 1 T, like a plane, and
I
then
did spell it right.
Jurgensmeyer.
Yep. Okay.
Jurgensmeyer. You don't have to memorize all 12 letters of that. All you have to do is remember the JUR portion, and if you type in JETJUR, I will pop up. Because believe it or not, I don't know if you know this, Skip, there's not many Jet Jurgensmeyers out there.
I didn't think there were. Just
If
saying.
there are, I guess I don't know if he and I have to rap battle for it or rock, paper, scissors, play a game of chess. We gotta do something to figure out who is the true Jet Jurgensmeyer.
Now, I have to ask you this, and you don't have to answer it all the way, but have you been able to enjoy some of the fruits of your labor, so to speak? You know what I mean?
Uh,
You've done really well in your life, and I hope that you have, and that you're planning for the future, and so on and so forth.
yeah, so
So,
I've been very fortunate that, my parents have been very fortunate, and
mhm,
everything that I have ever made has been put away, has been invested,
good.
and it for people I mean, it's grown. It continues to grow, as stocks do
Absolutely.
and things like that do, I suggest that everybody work on investing. I mean, you don't have to be a genius or pay a stockbroker to invest. Watch a YouTube video, download an investing app. There's plenty of investing apps. I think there's one called Acorn or something like that. You can just do some light trading to understand it. I think that's one of the greatest things. I've never been
Love
one
it.
to really spend a lot of money. If I do, it's typically on my friends and family. The only thing I ever purchase, I'm a knife collector, like a high-end
Oh,
knife
wow.
collector.
Okay.
And those,
Mhm.
especially certain ones that I have that are numbered, and there's only 10 in the world, and I have number
Sure.
7 and number
Sure.
1 of this one. Uh, I invest in things like that that grow in value.
Good.
Um,
Yep.
and those are things that I find enjoyable. Like right here, I have a Leatherman
That's your hobby,
that
man.
I always have with me. So
Love it.
I've got all kinds of things like that. I'm definitely an outdoors person. I grew up hunting and fishing, and I grew up with knives and guitars, and I have some guitars behind me that will grow in value. That I think that is the way that I typically. I don't know how you worded it. Enjoy the fruits of my labor, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, you work hard for that.
I don't
I mean,
I
you
don't go.
and
I'm
you
not a
keep going.
fancy car person. I don't like my. I bought a 2016 Jeep Cherokee. I'm not a.
Perfect.
I need a good gas mileage, and I wanted an SUV. So there you
There
go.
you go.
That's what I got,
There
and it
you go.
had
There you go. And
96,000 miles on it when I got it.
there you go. That's all you need, right? See, that's
Exactly.
smart. Dude, you're using your head. All right.
Yes,
I
sir.
get it. I get it. And Amanda just chimed in. She says, New York State Fair next summer. I will definitely go. Bam. Hey, you never know, right? You
I
never
might
know.
have to swing by.
Well, there's an opportunity. Get your people on it, and then you're in town. We could also come over here and do our thing. So,
Let's
but
do it.
tonight we've been talking to Jet Jurgensmeyer, and you know him from just TV, just about Nickelodeon and Disney Channel, and I can go on and on. Wait a minute, how many films? Wait a minute, hang on. 26 TV shows, 11 movies.
Thank you.
I counted them. If you had seen me before, like I had it up on Wikipedia, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, there's 26 TV. Scroll down and all right, there's 11 movies. That's that. I said I got to bring that up. So
Thank you
that's
so
cool.
much. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, this has been great. Go out and get the single, look it up, download it, buy it, download it, and you're gonna have it. It's pretty awesome. It's really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, just it's falling to.
Yes, sir.
Falling to TOO. And it's going to be there. Jet Jurgensmeyer, hold on. We're going to say goodbye to our viewers here tonight. And don't forget to give us a little check mark. Subscribe to Skip Happens on YouTube and the Skip
You better
Happens Facebook
subscribe.
page.
Subscribe.
They will. You tell them. They don't listen to me.
Subscribe. Like the bell. Click the bell. Like the video, guys.
What is it? Don't they
Subscribe
usually?
here.
It's down here in the corners.
Yeah.
Press that button.
I'll do it for you. I'll be your outro guy. Whatever you do,
Okay.
guys, before you go, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click that notification bell so you get notified every time we go live. Like the video, comment down below, and tell them that they want to have me back because I want to come back on the show. This was fun. How was that? Did I do all right?
Just like you know what you're doing. You did great. Jet, it's been great. Hold on. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Great stuff. Good night.